And good morning. How's everybody doing on this fantastic Thursday? It is December the 7th, 2023. We did have a little bit of news today, but not really market moving. We'll probably see a pretty range bound day today, seeing how tomorrow we have non-farm payrolls. According to what we've seen, as far as with the news we got today on the jobs, the non-farm payrolls probably going to come in around expectations, which is going to be good. Obviously, the Fed wants to see the labor market soften a bit more, but for at least the headline number, we're going to see a lower CPI. I believe it's next week. I looked on the economic calendar, and they don't give an estimate yet, but I would say it's probably going to be back down to 3. At least based on just the headline number, not the core, based on the fact that oil is back down in a big way. We bounced off of a weekly support down here at $69 a barrel. Huge move down. This was being thought to have been because of demand destruction, meaning that, the consumer just is not buying gas, travel and all that stuff, but that is not the case. One analyst said, let me get his name for you, Paul Sankey, basically said that oil prices are falling because of U.S. production. In other words, we have too much supply in the market. It is not demand destruction. So that's, too much supply, prices fall. This could be a manipulation strategy to get the headline number down for the simple fact that there are elections coming up next year. Who knows, right? That's just speculation, not really my opinion or anything. Just a little bit of speculation there. Get that headline number lower. How can we do that? Easy. Let's get prices of oil down. But we did expect a bounce from this area, as it is, like I said, a weekly support. And you can see that you are getting a very small bounce from that area. I was unable to participate. As I was watching it, it was just moving too slowly around that area for me to get involved. You can see right in through here, there was a little spike up that I was able to get involved in, but then it came back down and took out my trailing position. So I was unable to capture any of this rally up, but it's not a very big bounce to say the least on oil. All right, so basically, let's pull this up real quick and make it big and play it.
Jamie Dimon and Democratic Senator Elizabeth Warren finding common ground on another matter.
I've always been deeply opposed to crypto, Bitcoin, etc. You pointed out the only true use case for it is criminals, drug traffickers, anti-money laundering, tax avoidance, and that is a use case. If I was the government, I'd close it down.
Today's terrorists.
If I was the government, I would close it down. Well, thankfully, we live in a nation where one person isn't the government. But, you know, if you get a couple people on your side, like, say, Mrs. Warren here.
Cryptocurrency. I am not usually holding hands with the CEOs of multi-billion-dollar banks.
Of course you are, whenever they fit your narrative, whenever your politics are in line with theirs. Of course you are.
But this is a matter of national security.
So you are to
National security. Bitcoin, a matter of national security.
Tom, it's a matter of national
Watch her.
security. So here's Senator Warren there and Jamie Dimon almost holding hands and saying, come by arms,
Watch her.
kill Bitcoin.
And both reading Ken Rogoff and
Kumbaya, kill Bitcoin. Yeah, I love it. Good job with the Bloomberg team there. How's everybody doing on this fantastic morning? Hopefully everybody is doing good. Good. All right, so it looks like everything's working fine. So let's get going with this. First off, Bitcoin. We know it's going to pull back. It always does, right? Nothing goes straight up forever unless you're bank or boink or what was that ticker symbol? Bonk. Yeah, bonk. This thing, I guess it goes up forever, seeing how it's up, 4,500%. I can't trade that. Oh, it's up 5,000% now. I can't trade this on weeks, but this is MEXC. So maybe if you are on MEXC, you can trade this. Be very, very careful, as this thing is moving very fast. And as you can see, it is like literally worthless. So $1 will buy a ton of these. All right. So what that essentially means is if you go in with a full size position with 20x leverage, you're probably going to get stopped out with one single tick. Be very, very careful. But yeah, that's probably going to get rugged. All right. Probably going to get rugged. 4,000, 5,000%. That's crazy. All right, but back over here to Mr. Bitcoin, as we got some things to talk about. We are coming off a little bit, but in no way, shape, form, or fashion does this look like a pullback. It is 2 red days, but it's not a deep correction at all. It's literally, it almost looks like it's being accumulated still at these prices, which is insane. I would have figured by now we would have seen a big red candle dump. We haven't got that yet, but I am going to try to position myself for that just in case. You know what I mean? I'm not really swinging for the fences on these shorts or on this short if I do take it. But you can see that the opportunity to take it was yesterday. Let's pull it up. So obviously here is daily support or daily resistance, and that was the level as where I would be looking to do it. It happened last night. Late last night. So almost midnight. If you were up during those hours, you could have taken a short based on daily resistance. You didn't get a tag of it, not a perfect tag, but you were under these hourly candles resistance. So your hourlies are making lower closes, which is what you want to see if you expect a pullback on an asset. As far as the S&P 500, we are tagging the daily expected range high right now. So let's go ahead and see if we can bump off 2 of these real quick. Just follow with me just for a second. Like I said, it's just the expected range high. So we'll let it run. If it gets a couple ticks above me, then I'll stop it out. But we'll give it a little bit of time here to see. The market isn't open yet. We got 4 minutes at the market open, and we could see a big nasty spike through that. So we'll see what happens here. I'm on the 10-minute time frame. I'm at 45, 74 spot 75. Current price trading 75 spot 25. But we'll see if we can get this thing to pull back. And it's just basically playing off of yesterday's move lower. No reason other than a pullback. Not because I'm bearish on the marketplace. Marketplace is obviously bullish. So we'll go ahead and set a stop loss up there. Stop market at 2 points above where we are, which will get triggered almost immediately. So let me see here. This is a 10-minute candle or a 10-minute time frame. So if the candle's midpoint is roughly around that line, then I'd probably leave it alone, unless it starts to fall real quick here. Like I said, this is just the daily expected move that the options market has priced in. Sometimes these prices will act as resistance, and sometimes they will not. Sometimes price will just blast right through them like we are seeing currently. But there's no trade on Bitcoin right now. Not quite. If you're looking for longs, then you want to long it at hourly support, the lowest one. So this is not looking good. I want to see it start dropping pretty soon, or I'm going to bounce. So we did get a 2-minute candle closure above. Let's see if this one, yeah, 2 of them. We still haven't hit that 75. That 75, 76, 75 would be the area where I would want to come out of the trade. We just ticked it just then. So there we are. I would have been stopped out. So we'll see if the market will trade away from this price, and then I'll throw that stop up there before the market opens, because we got 2 minutes. So the close of this candle is actually going to do it. I don't like to be short or long at the market open because you usually get big spikes. Let's go ahead and place this stop market. Uh-oh. Oh, wait. I got to set buy to close to stop market 75. There we go. So if the market opens and we get a big spike up, then I'll be taken out. Hopefully the market opens and we get a spike down. So we got 1 minute for that. 1 minute. 1 minute. Oh, the account is down a little bit again, but I am still holding 4 positions, and I'm hoping those positions will ultimately end up paying off, as they are duration plays. They're not day trades. So I can't day trade options on stocks with this account. I can day trade futures, but I cannot day trade stocks or options on stocks. However, I can day trade options on futures, just not stocks. It doesn't make much sense, but that's the law. So the law is the law. All right. So a little bit moved back down to that. I don't want to chase price here, but you can see how it literally just stopped me out, ran 2 points. That's the very high of that. And then we got that move lower. That's what we wanted. So we will sell to open 2 more up here. And set this to buy to close for 2. And we'll set this at market. Go ahead and get it ready to throw it out there in case of a spike high. And then that'll be the end of it. Just give us a second here. 77. Making sure it's getting anybody that's within a couple points from that. So 78. That's going to put us down where we don't want to really be. So let's see if it comes back. If it don't, we'll get out of it, as it is trending higher. At 78, we are 3 points above. Let me pull up the other charts over here so I can see what's going on as far as with the Nasdaqian. So Nasdaq actually pushed lower and is still red on the 5-minute candle. And on the 5-minute candle on the S&Ps, we're green. So here's the Nasdaq, S&Ps. Dollar is had to move lower based on the news, so might see a trend up day today. We don't know. We had a trend down day yesterday, but we're into daily res. We'll see, give it a little bit of time. Now the Nasdaq shot up with a big green spike. Let's give it a little bit of time. Very boring, I know. That's how trading should be, though. But we don't want to go over our $60 max loss, which we were over it just a little bit. So we'll probably go ahead and close this down because the Nasdaq is shooting to the moon. Now, Nasdaq is mostly tech. The S&P has a lot of other sectors involved with it. If I pull up the market watch, you can see there, everything is green today. So probably not best to be short, because everything is literally green. Let me pull up the index watch real quick. S&P 100, sorry. Yeah, you got 71 advancing stocks and 30 declining. So it's more of a bullish day than a bearish one. Here, I'll show you real quick. Typically, when you know your shorts are going to be good, you want to see like 80 declining and 20 advancing, not this way. When it's this way, it's typically bullish. Nasdaq's still rocking, making fresh daily highs. But the S&Ps are not. It could be the energy sector, could be healthcare, it could be financials. It could be a lot of things. If we make another higher close, then I will get out of this trade. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Funding rate would eat you up. Funding rate on what? On that crazy bonk trade, whatever. Yeah, it's insane. We're going to go ahead and close this out because NASDAQ is still screaming to the moon. All right. Let's go see what these positions are doing. So PSTG, which is pure storage, is still down $33. We got the XLF put. It's up by 9. PayPal's up by 14. This was up much higher yesterday. So we're having a pullback on PayPal, not necessarily what I wanted to see. And then the JP Morgan in-out spread is finally in the green where it has been in the red. Bitcoin getting a spike. Basically what I was saying is if you want to get long, you want to buy around 43,139, stop below the low of day, as that would give you an opportunity potentially if Bitcoin does go back higher. Risk markets are nice and bullish. The DXY is down 0.31%. Not horrendously down, but it is down. There it is, right there. Aussie dollar mooning, not really. But you can see that it is up in the weekly supply right now. With the Australian dollar, DXY being down, obviously going to give Aussie a little bit of strength. However, the euro has not got the same amount of strength as the Aussie does. Now, the BOJ came out and said that they are going to essentially end their negative rates. That's why you have the You have the Japanese yen currency mooning today. The BOJ appears to be preparing for the end of its long-held negative interest rate policy. So we are seeing a nice red day for USD JPY. So with dollar weakness here, as long as we have dollar weakness and as long as we have yen strength, this thing is going to roll over. We were putting in some sort of a descending wedge there. Those typically break out to the bullish side. Obviously, this invalidates it for now. It's a pretty big candle. We can measure just to see how big it is. It's 275 pips. That is a massive move for this asset. This asset does not move that big that often. So yeah, it looks like anybody who got short up there, if they're still trading it or still holding it, it looks like the BOJ is going to intervene. And that's what you need in order to have this currency or this currency pair to pull back with dollar weakness. So we'll see. I mean, we didn't get stopped out up there, which is amazing because I've had this trade on since October 2022. Right there is when I put this short on. So it almost stopped us out, but it did not quite get it. So the trade is still open and it's still going. We'll see if this ends up killing the USD yen. And obviously Euro yen is going to get pounded as well. Not as bad as the USD because the USD is down, right? So any currency that is down today, trading versus the Japanese yen is going to have a really big move, or already does. So like the Swiss franc versus the Japanese yen, for instance, that thing is probably cruising to the downside. Let's go take a look. Yeah, it's getting a pretty decent move there. I don't think it's the same as far as pips go, but oh yeah, it's much more. You got 362 pip move today. That's more than the USD JPY, and that's just simply because it's down. And your other Canadian dollar is down as well. So both of those two currencies trading versus the yen, be good to look for pullback short entries. Good morning, everybody. What's up, Brandon? Glad you could make it, my friend. Magnificent 7, all of them green. Google's up. Google's up big today. Google's up 5%. I don't really know why. It seems like every time AMD announces some kind of good news or whatever, Google moves with AMD. I mean, they don't move one-to-one. You can clearly see the charts do not look the same. However, it just seems like whenever AMD announces good news, Google gets a lift from that. Google getting a massive pop to the upside. Obviously, as long as you see all green over here, these are the stocks that are propping up the NASDAQ and the S&P 500. Let's go look at the sectors and see which ones are green. Obviously, XLK Tech is green. You got financials barely green, but they are green. I do have a put on this. Basically, just looking for a pullback. I'm not expecting it to fail. I'm not looking for a bear market. I'm just looking to gain, $50-$60 off the put. If I can do that, then I will close the trade out. So we'll see what happens, as we did have a close above resistance. And then the next day, same thing, lower. Yesterday, almost, well, it is a bearish engulfing compared to the daily before it. But bearish engulfings typically don't mean anything in an uptrend, right? Bearish engulfings matter more when it happens at resistance and you're in a downtrend. You can see here a small bearish outside day candle, and you did get a little bit of downside from that one. So I'm not saying it doesn't always work out that way. It just, I don't put too much faith in them, if you will, but we'll see what happens. Energy sector, I have no clue how this is up at all. I mean, oil is barely moving off of those lows still. I have it pulled up on another monitor over there, and it is still not doing anything. So I guess it's wanting to look for lower lows. Dollar moving up, still red on the day. So these are the biggest sectors right here. And they're all up except for healthcare. Healthcare is down. So basically, you can see that it's trading in a very big range here. That's essentially all I've done with the XLF, right? If I pull this out into a weekly time frame, you can see that this thing is trading in a range, right? So basically, I'm just taking the trade like that, right? Looking for it to pull back maybe down to $34. That's all. And that's only $2. $2. $2. We'll see if it can get down there though. But that's the reason why I took that trade. The other trades that I took were based on crazy options activity. Unusual options activity is the scanner. Let me go over here real quick to the positions. This PSTG was buy calls. A lot of them were being done on this day right here. So I bought calls. I said I would close this position if we closed below daily support. We got that yesterday. However, I know traps exist. So if we can close back above it, I'll keep that trade on. If today closes back under this, then I'm going to close the position for a loss. PayPal, like I said, up yesterday really nicely, gapping down today. So we'll see if this can continue to go or if it's going to roll back over, as it is ultimately in a downtrend. And these are the types of trades where you actually look for shorts as long as the RSI is trending under the 50. Seeing how this is above the 50, we even got a retest of the 50 and got another higher high on price and a higher high on the oscillator. We think, this could continue. And we did see a lot of call options being bought inside of this asset as well. So, and then the last one that I took from unusual options activity was the Colgate Palmolive short. I closed it on this day. That trade would be making money today if I would not have closed it. That's trading, right? I have a max risk. You know what I mean? When that max risk gets hit, I close the trade. No ifs and or buts about it. Because you never know, right? You don't know what's going to happen the next day. What if I said, no, I ain't going to close it. I'm going to give it one more day. And it gapped up $80. I'd get killed, right? My risk unit would literally be double. And that's not what you try to do. You try to keep your trades at a 1% total equity risk and always 1%. And you close it if you hit the 1%. You do that all the time because every now and then you're going to catch a home run, all right? You're going to nail one of these home run trades and it's going to swallow up all of those little losses. And that's the whole point. That's what you guys need to learn. That's what I'm here to teach. Where to look for trades, obviously, and when to put them on and how much the risk. That's all you need in this business to be successful. So those were the major trades, but like I said, I closed that one, and I haven't found anything else yet. I am looking to buy the TLT if we get a freaking pullback. Again, we initially engaged this asset on this day here. We bought calls. We took the product off when we were in the money up there. Did not buy it again here, which was a huge mistake. Should have. Now in hindsight, obviously, and left it on. But I do want to get into a long-term hold long on this trade, because when the government or when the Fed starts to cut interest rates, it's going to cause bonds to soar. All right. And the market's pricing in almost 4 rate cuts as of right now for next year. The Fed is not going to say that. The Fed is going to say, no, we're not even thinking about doing rate cuts, but the market always already knows these things. So yeah, huge move there on the TLT. Would love to get it back down in the 88s in that area. If we can get it back down in there, we're going to buy long dated calls and we're going to just leave that trade alone. We're going to let that baby work to our benefit once the rate cuts start coming in. This thing has got a lot of room to go to the upside. Lot of room to go to the upside. So this is basically when the Fed started its hiking cycle. So when it stops its hiking cycle and starts cutting, easing, not expecting it to get back to 160, but it's a possibility. It is a possibility. All right. So yeah, this in my opinion is probably going to be one of the best trades of 2024. But that is just my opinion. All right, so let's go back over here to Bitcoin. No questions, really. Oh, I gotta say this. BitGet literally stopped me using their platform, even though that I was like in business with them. They literally stopped me from trading on their platform. So no longer using BitGet. That's why you're not gonna find BitGet in the link anymore. They will not let U.S. citizens trade on their platforms. So we are using Weeks. The platform is called Weeks. Let me pull it up over here. This is what I am using right now to trade Bitcoin. All right. This is what I'm using. It's similar to most all other, what do you call it? Crypto exchanges. I mean, you got your chart and then you got your orders here, your leverage. That on this goes up to 125, but on USDT, I think it'll go all the way up to 200x. Let's go check that just to make sure. Yeah, leverage 200x. Be careful with that. Oh, that will get you crushed so fast. So fast. But this is the platform that I'm using to trade. Once again, it's called Weeks. There is a description or there is a link in the description below. If you do choose to use it, you will save 20% on all trading fees. Well, that's nice of them, huh? So there you go. If you live in the US, obviously just put trading capital on the exchange. Please do not put more than that, right? Because think about it. If they have to do the same thing, you know what I mean? You don't want to, which I didn't lose my money. I pulled my money from BitGet, which I didn't have a lot. Once they started booting US citizens, I literally took most of the money out and only left a couple grand on exchange. I got a couple grand, almost a couple grand on Weeks. All right. I'm not holding millions of dollars on the platform. I got 30 grand in Tether, but that's a different story. We're going to start doing some big trades, I guess. They want me to try to grow the audience by getting big wins. That's what we're going to do. Maybe. I haven't quite thought about it yet. But moving forward, Bitcoin seems to be struggling right here with hourly resistance. I would not want to short it unless it could get back up around this area, closer to that daily resistance. Maybe the open would be about as low as I would short it. And that's up here. All right. So this is going to be your opening price right there. That candle. And that's your daily open. So if it gets back up there, maybe I'll look for a short entry. You could technically take a short down here, but your target would simply be low of day or this support. This would be a secondary target. This would be a primary target. Not sure if that's a big trade, though. It's almost a 0.6% move, so it's not really a big move. But, you know, with leverage, it could make pretty good, decent amount of money. Hang on 1 second. All right, so there. Yeah, I mean, it wouldn't be a huge move, but like I said, with about 20x leverage on it, you'd probably make about 10%, close to it. And then after the fees, maybe not, maybe closer to 9 or 8%. All right, so what's going on here? Good morning, chat. Few ledges. Good morning, all. Google is related to some kind of AI integration into their apps or something. Yeah. Yeah, I know. They're definitely moving, and the news that AMD launched it had something to do with computing power for the AI. Some kind of chip. Estimate was up there in hundreds of billions of dollars is what they're thinking that this thing could do. So that's why AMD's getting a pop, and Google would be based on that news, I'm sure. I'm switching to Crest to help you out. Crest? I don't know what that means. Oh, Colgate? No, I'm not in the trade anymore, but I thank you. It was just an unusual options activity, right? Probably because Colgate or CL is up there at an area of resistance. It's probably the only reason why some rich guy decided to throw on a bunch of puts up there. Obviously, I should have held that. That trade would be in the money right now. I put it on over in here. So we would definitely be in the money. It wasn't an out spread, so I already had the puts was in the money. So, but obviously when it got up here, it was no longer in the money. But yeah, I would probably still like the trade if it could retest this resistance over here. If it could retest that and hold like it did here and here, then I could probably put on another trade. Expect it to go down to roughly 75, as that's the next area of support. 75.56. Oh, a couple bucks, right? Moves a couple bucks, you make a couple bucks. Good stuff. Good stuff. But this stock is bullish. I mean, there's no doubt about it. It's pulling back, and that's a pretty vigorous pullback there, but it is overall in a longer term range, but the range is high. It's still got a long ways to go before it gets up into range highs. 81.96. But I think you could get it down to there anyways. Shy, for some reason, I cannot buy this. I tried to buy it yesterday when it was down here, but my platform said this was sell only, closing orders only. Thank you, baby. Closing orders only. So I don't know what's up with that. Maybe this thing's getting ready to get shut down or something. Sorry, I needed a drink of water. But yeah, closing orders only. So I guess I can't buy this. Maybe your platform will let you. But it's a 1 to 3 year treasury bond. I think, the near term is going to be better than the long term, but the TLT is the 20 year. So, I mean, I wanted access to both. I wanted to be able to get long both of them, as I don't have enough money in the small account to just get long the 2 year. So, look at that bastard. It's usually how it goes. We get the right direction and everything, but it just squeezes us a little bit too much. But here's the 2 year. It would be Z/ZT. That's the US that's the 2 year treasury note. And this thing right here is a good thing to buy right now, in my opinion. But we need it to pull back. Need this thing to pull back. If we can get it to pull back, maybe around 102.03, then we could buy it. It's hard to buy one red candle pullbacks. I like these kind of accumulation formations. And then still, it would have been a difficult buy. It would have had to been done on this day when it retested support right there. So as you can see, support was clearly broken here. Let's get it on there. So support was broken here, but then it got back above it there. Then that's when we know this is a bear trap. Then we look to buy a pullback back into the original support right there. All right. It's the same thing. I keep saying these same things over and over and over again. Now, we were looking for the Euro USD to potentially be forming a bear trap. It did not work out. So everything in trading works, just not all the time. All right. Here was the trap. We were watching to see what happened this day. Break down, close above. We wanted this day right here to shoot back above and get back above. Then we would have been looking to buy a retest. That has not happened. So therefore, this is not a trap. It's actual downside. And you can see where people sold it today. All right. They hit it at yesterday's open. Just simple like that. Boom. Get short. And it just happened. Just happened. So that's what I'm looking at maybe on Bitcoin, right? If it can get up to the open on the daily time frame, today's open. Yesterday's open is resistance. It's already been up there. There's a possibility that it takes it out. There's also a possibility that Bitcoin continues to go up, right? I'm not saying that I think the pullback is coming today or tomorrow. I just know that it is coming, all right? It is coming. You're on 9 straight weeks of upside. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 straight weeks of upside. You are massively overbought here. Still not putting any weekly bearish divergence in yet. So, I mean, could we get another couple weekly bullish candles? Yeah, absolutely. Shorting this has been killing bears. Every attempt to get short has not worked. So, I mean, we are printing bearish divergence on the daily, but you were doing that over here as well, and it did not work. All right. But yeah, a pullback is coming, guys. These things don't just go up forever and ever. They always pull back. They always pull back. There will be an opportunity to buy it lower than $43,000. You got the halving coming up all the way over here. So if you think that this thing is going to trade sideways at this price all the way to here, I think you're sadly mistaken. If you don't think that this thing can't do something like this, right? Boom. That's what we expect. That's what has typically happened in Bitcoin's past. Let's just say that. Bitcoin usually does not make fresh all-time highs until after the halving. After, not before. Let's just say that. So, it's kind of hard for me to think that Bitcoin's going to see all-time high prices, especially this year. I mean, you're 7 days into the last month of the year. So we got the yearly open coming up soon. Coming up soon. Right there is going to be the yearly open. So I'd say you're probably going to get a pullback before then. We'll see, though. Obviously, time will tell if I'm right or if I'm wrong. And could it trade sideways for that long? It did here, right? It traded sideways for a very long time. You did have some spike ups and some sell downs, but ultimately it got accumulated and up she goes. And so, yeah, I'm looking to position myself for a short. Mainly just for a hedge, though. Not looking for a massive move. Just looking to hedge the hodl position. The hodl position looks great. It's looking beautiful. Yeah. So don't want to ruin those gains by constantly trying to short it. I took a small short on it Tuesday. It didn't work out. Live on stream. We'll see if it gets up to the daily open and how it reacts there if I get short again. So I got it on watch over here on the other monitor. And I go ahead and put that line. I got this set on UTC5, which is New York Standard Time, but they still have the days closing and opening at midnight, that's not what I like. I like the daily opens to happen when the daily open happens. The daily open does not happen at midnight. It happens at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's what time it opens. So I don't understand how to get that fixed. Maybe I'll reach out to somebody at Weeks and see if they can't fix that. Or maybe it's in the setting. I don't know. I'll look in the settings and see if I can fix it. Is CoinX good? I don't know, GB. I've never used it before. I can't say. I don't even know what it is. I don't know if it's an exchange or what. So I have no opinion whatsoever. I've been long TLT at 87.50 since your advice and did some research. If it pulls back to 88, I think I will buy more. Can we take a look at Unity Software U chart for long? Thanks. Yeah, absolutely. And good job buying that down there at 87.50. Bitcoin is spiking. Let's get out here and look at a much longer time frame. So it has been in a very choppy sideways market for a long time. Weekly support held beautifully. So that would have been the time to buy it if you are looking to buy it. It's not a good chart. All right. I don't know if there's more data because the little dinosaur isn't there. Usually there's a dinosaur whenever that's all the data TradingView has, or if it's just jacked up. But if this is all the data, the chart does not look good. It hasn't been a good thing to buy since 2021. But I mean, support held at 25.03. If you get any pullbacks to there, as long as you do not close a weekly candle under it, then you can buy it. How do you do that? Well, you have to wait the whole week. So if you're pushing under it, you must wait until you go back above it, right? But it's a stock, so it's only open from Monday through Friday. This is actually a selling opportunity more than likely. But we'll see if the bears kick in here or not. I'm not going to sell it, but it's right there. Right there. No, see, it's hit that price, broke above it on a daily close. This looks like accumulation. I don't like buying things at resistance, just like I don't like shorting things at support. You can see here was that it opened down here and just straight up. That would have been a buying opportunity. Right there, stop under that low. But now, it's already 3 moves up on this push. And you are getting to an area where sellers do like to get back short. Let's go look and see if these guys make money or not. No, they don't make money. They're almost $1 billion down on income. So they don't make money. That's why nobody's buying the chart. I mean, there's buyers and sellers. This is just literally buyers and sellers moving the market around until that number starts to go positive. I wouldn't expect it to get much higher than $46. Just like I took that short on XLF as it's in a range, I would treat this thing the same way. I wouldn't look at that because that was obviously an outlying event, and I'm not using this is purely a subjective line here, right? I mean, you could use an objective price. You could use that candle close right there, as that was the highest daily close there. And you can see that you did get above it a little bit here, but ultimately, boom, back down. So, like, I would be looking to sell this if it ever got back up to 46.81. As long as they're still not making money, right? As long as this number is still going down, if price goes up to there, I would short it. I would short it hard. So just keep that in mind, guys. When you're looking to buy stocks for an investment, you want them to have a good PE ratio, and you also need them to be making money. Some stocks are not profitable and they're flying, but that's because eventually they will be, right? This doesn't look like the investors have a whole lot of hope, right? So, yeah, I'd probably leave it alone. But it does look like it is trying to accumulate under that daily resistance and go higher, which is also weekly res. Also weekly res. Bitcoin is pushing up a little bit. It didn't quite up to the open. We'll see if it is able to. But good job on that freaking TLT trade at 87. 87.50. Right in there. Not bad. Not bad at all. Yeah. How do you buy on pullbacks retests? How do you know price just doesn't slice through support? Thanks, bro. Sometimes it does, right? So like in Euro's situation, this was the support that we were looking at. All right, so let's get rid of all these other lines as to not confuse anybody. This is the support that we were watching here. And this candle, if you look at that, you can see how it tested it perfectly and rolled over. See that wick there? Perfect test right there. And then rolled over. So basically, we were watching this. What is going on here? There. The RSI was coming into the 50, right? So basically what I had posted on Twitter is if we can get a push back above the support, then we would want to buy a retest of the support then, okay? Don't just buy when it hits it. I mean, you can get these kind of bounces like this one did, right? It hit support and then traded back up and closed. You can do that, but most of the time, this is going to happen the next day. So we wait to see how the dailies close in or around the level. we will sometimes take day trades based on looking for a bounce. But as I showed you on oil earlier, that didn't really work out. So it doesn't always work out perfectly. But here I will show you the one where it did work. And I took it off. And I don't even remember the ticker symbol. But it was a perfect one. RTX. So this is the level we were watching for price to come down. We got this, and then the very next day, we got this, a gap down. So I was basically waiting to see if we got a push back above, and we did, and then we bought on this day here on the retest. And you can see, boom, right? Same scenario, same plan. It's the same strategy. Always. Where is the 50? Where's the 21? What does the overall trend look like? Also, this is another one where the overall trend looks bearish. So I didn't expect to get a massive move out of it, right? I was just expecting a bounce, and only based on this candle. This candle told me everything I wanted to know. That more buying was taking place on this day than selling. As this thing gapped down and just boom, bullish engulfing. Your trend, near-term trend is up. Your RSI is coming back in for a retest after being overbought. That's typically when you want to look to buy. But you got to wait, make sure your area of resistance, this isn't support, this is old resistance. All right, there would have been support. So either way, it's still closed below. But we were watching this because this was the breakout point. And we wanted to see what happened at that point. When you break out of a resistance level, when you come back in, does it hold as support or not? And it did. It took 4 days to work out. 4 days. You got to be patient. You must be patient. But I'll take that trade every single time. Every single time. So if we could get something like that on Bitcoin, it would be freaking phenomenal. But you did here, right? You got really close to the 50 on this day. The problem is price wasn't going down. It was trading sideways. But ultimately, here's your overbought signal. And here's your first retest of the midpoint. You didn't quite get there. You got to 52. But, I mean, did it hold support? Yes. So that would have been the area to buy. 35, 554. Which you'd never really tested it, but you get the idea, right? You get close enough to it, you can buy it. And your risk would be the wick low there because that's the support candle. But that would have been the opportunity to buy. So will we do it again? Yeah. If we pull back down to here and we find support, we'll look for it to go back up. But not straight up like that. Probably more like this. Right? A slower form, but something like that. It's already happened though, so I don't know if you get another one out of it. It's almost a perfect measured move. So here's your first bullish run, then your consolidation, and then the breakout was almost exactly 1-for-1 the same size. You see that? Measured move, kind of, sort of. You use this little baby here. Something like this, all right? And then we put the consolidation would be from there to there. And we just take this candle over here and move it roughly right in there. If you put it at the top of the box, then you got a little bit more room to go. Not much. Well, yeah, I mean, when price is pretty efficient. Pretty efficient. So we'll see if we can get a pullback. And I definitely want to be short for the pullback. I don't want to be a buyer up here. I want to be a seller, and then I want to be a buyer at lower prices. My perfect scenario would be to see Bitcoin come down and liquidate Q2's low. That's Q2's low, 2023. Was not liquidated. That wick did not get below this wick. So that would be the perfect scenario, in my opinion, for Bitcoin. That would be a big pullback, though. A lot of people would get super bearish if that were to happen. Right? Because you don't have much time for it to happen in. And then bye. Bye. But I don't think you're going to get that low. That'd be a pretty big pullback. Now, I did a video last Saturday where I went back in time and showed you that Bitcoin, every time a year prior to the halving, you got weekly overbought signals and you had a pullback of up to 40%. It's happened to every single cycle. That's basically all I'm saying, right? If it's happened every single time, then it is probably going to happen again. But we just know this, we know things don't just fly up in one direction except bonk. But I don't know what's going on with that. It's not on all exchanges. It's not on weeks. So that's probably going to be a rug pull. Be very careful if you're trading it. Very careful. That thing is freaking moving like crazy. But yeah, that's how we buy pullback retests. Sometimes we're not even looking at the RSI. Sometimes if we're really bullish something, we'll just watch a support zone. Like, I mean, that's Q2's low, but if I put it on the candle's close, look at that, right? Like, just being a buyer of Bitcoin, what an objective price level to buy, 25,123. Why? Because that was the lowest bearish close. And then here you come into it, you closed right at that price. Next day, just buy it. Boom, stop under yesterday's low. It just depends on what's going on in the cycle. I mean, this is the end of the 4-year cycle for Bitcoin. You're getting ready to start a new one here. So a pullback is probably going to happen. What's 3x TLT? I mean, I'm going to buy options because options move better than price sometimes. So I'm going to buy options and I'm just going to look to roll them. If my thesis is correct, we get a pullback, I'm able to get long calls. I'll buy at the money calls and just hold them. And when I get, I'm going to lose money based on a time decay. Even if it's in the money, you still lose money from time decay. It's unavoidable. So it would probably be best to buy the underlying asset if you can, but it's a $100 product. So it's going to cost a lot more money to buy 100 shares of TLT than it would to buy, one call. One call will cost you roughly around $350. 100 shares of TLT at $88 is going to cost you, for $350, you'll get 4 shares. You see what I'm saying? So, I mean, options is a way to lever it up. You can buy multiple calls instead of just going 3x long. EWI, I have no idea what this is. Probably not with the threat of China invading. Probably not. I don't know if they're going to. I mean, they're probably not, but you never know. It's in a like a sideways chop zone as well. You're kind of like in the middle of that. But yeah, I mean, it looks good for a day trade setup. Let's see. So this would be the breakout zone here. When you came up, pulled back, broke out there, and then gapped down, closed under it. Yesterday gapped above it, closed under it. Today you need to get back above it. I'd say probably wait to see if you can close back above 6150, and then tomorrow maybe look for a retest of 6150, then get long, as that would be the exact same setup. The only difference is this never reached overbought status on its initial run. So, but other than that, it fits, it meets the criteria, but I wouldn't do it today. Just like I don't short support, I don't buy at resistance. I buy at support, right? After resistance becomes support, then I buy it. If you can close today's candle up above this, then I'd look for the very next day to see if you get a wick down to it. And that's where I'd buy it. Boom. And then maybe you can get a nice dollar move out of it or so. Take your money and run. But I wouldn't long it today. As yesterday told you pretty much the story. Would I short it? No. But I wouldn't buy it. You still need this to happen. You need this candle to resolve yesterday's move, right? Then you want to see this thing open and have a wick down. Then you buy it, and then you want to see it move away. But it's definitely one to put on watch. EWY for sure. If we get that move, I will trade it with you, but not today. Chewy longs. Yeah, this one we tried, and it just never worked out. No. It was moving higher, gapped up down here on earnings. So they missed on earnings. No way. Also, you've already made a pretty damn big move today. This is probably going to get sold off. Why would you want to buy it now after it's already moved $1.20? Let's get back to Bitcoin because it looks like it is at the open. The daily open. All right, so let me get this situated. Where am I at? I need to be on Coin M. And hit the sell button. 20x. All right. All right. So we'll watch it here. See if this area holds as resistance or not. What do we got? We're very early. We still got 40 minutes on this candle, give or take 34 minutes left on this candle. So we got 4 minutes left on the half hour. We'll watch the half hour. If we get a half hour close above it, then we'll probably wait, see what happens. Or if you want to take it now, you can risk up there, 44,050. And then that would give you close to a 2-to-1 risk to reward back down to there. But with risk and everything else flying to the upside, who knows, right? But Bitcoin kind of does its own thing. 3 minutes left on this close. $43,866 would be the last 30-minute support before the breakdown. This is ultimately going to be the breakdown area, but this would be like a retest also, because this candle broke down, and that's where you found your descent. Two minutes to go. All right. Gold entry, daily support. Yeah, let's go look at it. Maybe. I don't like this candle, dude. Like, I hate it. That is ugly. I mean, that's fresh all-time highs. And you reject it hard. So daily support is going to be $2,019 under this red candle there. But I would rather see a retest of this to see if this area holds, as it held there, and it held there. So I would rather wait for 2006 and see if you get a hold there. Okay? But at the same time, I do not like this. That was a lot of stop loss triggered, and then, I mean, anybody that was shorting that, they just got smoked. Created a ton of buying happening at higher buyers, and then you got smart money selling into those higher buyers. It just, yeah, for me, I would think maybe downside continuation. And it has to do with the dollar as well. Like, whatever the dollar does, if the dollar's down today and gold is just barely up, right? So that tells you something right there, that there's inherently a little bit of weakness in that. This thing should be, up good today based on the fact that the dollar's down, but it's not. It's struggling. It's struggling right at that last bearish close there. So Bitcoin is pushing right on through the open and has turned green on the day. So this thing might be going on up the daily res. I gotta refresh the screen over there for some reason. All right, but Let's see. Are you going to go on up the daily res? 30-minute closed well above. So I know I don't really like it anymore. We'll see how this candle plays out. See if this one pushes back under it. Some volatility in there, isn't there? Thing flashed red for just a second and then popped back up. Yeah, I mean, people buying Bitcoin at 40K, 44K, 43K. It's crazy. We'll see how it plays out. All right. UPS, it's 8-hour support, not daily. Oh, okay. Oops, it's 8-hour support, not daily, maybe. Yeah, no, I wouldn't buy it there. Not with gold, not with the dollar down. I mean, it's already making its move to the upside and it's stifled. It's very stifled. It shouldn't be. It should be breaming. It should be trading at the high of day almost. Well, you should have took it then. Obviously, you know what I mean? I read the comments as they come in. Sorry. But yeah. I don't like it. I wouldn't have taken it anyways. The Chewy trade. Yeah. So we're just kind of watching Bitcoin to see what it does here. I'd love to see it start, to drop back down heavily. As it is just, even though the 30-minute did close above, it is just one 5-minute candle closure above. That 15-minute candle looks terrible. Let's pull up this real quick. Let's just see if there's selling coming in up here. Oh yeah, big sell side wick up there. So yeah, I mean, it could still stop you out, but if you want to take it, you can take it. Use this as your risk, as that is the point of control, right where that thing wicked to. Is just below yesterday's point of control as well. And since you made a lower low today, I'd say maybe. I mean, it's just this doesn't always work either. It could be wanting to stop out the shorts because shorts are piling in, just piling in. It's just one of those trades that's like, don't risk a lot. Don't put a lot of your capital to work. You just want to make it to where you only lose like 2 or 3% at most. But it is struggling to get back under it, isn't it? This is that 30-minute support level. And then up here is your daily res. Sorry, I know I'm being quiet. I'm just watching it. I'm also watching stuff over here, seeing what's going on. US 30's up 25 points. The S&P 500 is up 31 points. It had an $18 expected move today, and it's up 32. 32. So it's double. It's moved double what the options market predicted it was going to move. The VIX is broken. So take that as you will. But I think the VIX is broken, so it's making it very difficult to get forward-looking risk close, thanks to zero-day expiration options trading. So these are the key levels that we are watching on Bitcoin. Let me see here. TMF is the 3x long ETF on TLT. Oh, does it have options? It's cheaper. It does have options. And they're more expensive than the TLTs. All right, what position's getting killed here? PSTG still getting killed. JP Morgan's back in the red. We'll leave these trades on for a few more days just to see if they start to cooperate. If not, then we'll close them down and open new ones. Yeah, I didn't know that. Thank you for telling me that. You got to be careful trading these things because a lot of these things are resettled every single day. So even though it looks like it's moved up a certain amount of percent, it really hasn't because of resettlement. And a lot of people think that, if you're able to get long at the bottom of something that's moved up, like for instance, let's see what this says. And it just did a split, another split. So this is up 53%. All right. The TLT is up 13. Well, no, that's not accurate. 15%. So you wouldn't have made 53%, more than likely. If it works if it's resettled every day, you wouldn't have made that 53%. But it is a 3x long ETF. They're basically designed for day trading, right? Day trading. They're not designed for you to get long and hold it. So do some research on it. Find out if it's resettled every day. If it's resettled every day, I would just stick to the TLT. If it's not resettled every day, then maybe there's something there to talk about. But there's a lot of 3x long S&P ETFs also. And I've seen people on Twitter all the time being like, why would you get long the S&P 500? It's only went up, 16%. This thing went up 150%. It's because it's resettled every day. It didn't go up 150%. If you would have got long and held it, you're going to get crushed in fees and everything else. You're not going to make that 150% or whatever. It's settled on a daily basis. It's built for day traders. So it literally moves 3 times more each in a day. Like if the S&P 500 moves a buck, that thing is supposed to move 3. Right? So it gives you a little bit more bang for your day trading buck, if you will. Hoping to get long Tesla before a breakout. Tesla was 2 days ago when we did the live stream. I said I didn't like the fact that it pulled back to support, but this was the area to buy it. And you can see down at the bottom of the screen, it says Tuesday. That would have been the time to buy it. So it's still the price to be a buyer. But I don't like the fact that it is chopping. It is accumulation. But at the same time, if it breaks down, then it's going to look more like distribution and not accumulation. But you might get one daily close under it, and then the next day sprout right back into that range. And if that were to happen, I would be a buyer. But it is struggling. It is struggling to break out of this wedge or whatever. I mean, I don't have that on perfect, obviously. I just threw it on. Where's the other one? Oh, that was just a trend line. Typically that's how I do my trend lines or wedges. But yeah. See, like this perfect little bear trap right there, boom. So if you get something similar to that here, so like if we get a daily close like this, and then the next day you get something like this, then you buy that on a retest or on this day, and then just use this as your risk. But yeah, I'm watching Tesla. I'm watching it. It's hard to get long because of the skew. The skew's up real big. You can't really put on spreads. So I can't, like, the account's too small to just buy a $1,400 call and hope for the best, right? It moves way too quick. So what I try to do is I try to get in on like a $5 wide spread, but you can see that the implied volatility from the one that I'm buying is 47% and the one that I'm selling is 46%. You want it to be the other way around when you're putting together a spread. You want to be selling the higher vol and buying the lower vol. So in a sense, like the only way that one could even build a spread here, you wouldn't be able to do an in-out spread because the vol is just it's going down. You got to get out here where the vol is going back up, right? And this is only 36 days out. So in that scenario, you'd need to go out further and 43 days and see if we got the same scenario happening. We do. It's even worse. All right, so it'd have to be this strike, and literally you would do it like this, buy the 265 because you're at a 46.18, and then sell the 275. That's a $10 wide spread, right? But you can see now your max profit is 810 and your max loss is 190. That's like what? A 4-to-1 risk to reward? But what's the probabilities of it getting out there? Very low. A 20% chance that price is going to trade to this line. That's it. You got a 20% chance of price getting to there given this amount of time. But just by doing that with the implied volatility changes things so much. So watch when I try to build this spread here, which would be the most feasible one to build, right? Because you're well within the probabilities of price going that way. But look at the skew down here. Max profit, 259. Max loss, 241. When you build a $5 wide spread, you don't want to pay more than $1.50 for it. Your max loss, that's what you're paying for the spread right there. That's what you're paying for the spread. It's only a $5 wide spread. So you're only getting half, right? You're risking 241 to potentially make 259. So it's tough to build a spread when the skew's all jacked up the way it is, because it makes this stuff do this. But like I said, if you go further out of the money, you can build a spread You could say buy this one and sell that one, and that's much better, right? Max profit 373, max loss 125. Is it within the realm of probabilities? Yes. It's right at the edge of the expected move. Over here, there's a $25 expected move. That's what this ruler is. It'll either move $25 up or it'll move $25 down. And it stays within this 68% of the time. So you're right on the edge of the expected range. So this is actually a spread that one could put on. You're only risking $128 and your max profit's $373. But in order to see how far price would need to go for you to achieve that max profit, you would have to go to the curve and analyze it. So this orange line right here is your profit, right? There's one standard deviation move away. That is this line right here, all right? This dotted line right here is one standard deviation away. So we go back into the curve. This line is one standard deviation away. So you got to see how much will I be making at one standard deviation. And you can see that it's $181. So out of the max profit of 375, if you hit one standard deviation, which you typically do 68% of the time, you could make a potential 187 out of that trade, which ain't bad because you're only risking 135 or 128. But the further it goes, obviously, the more money you make. If you get all the way out to two standard deviations, you'll make $307 on that one trade. And what price is that? Two standard deviations is $316. So is $316 feasible? Probably not. Right? Up here's 316. This is where you would need to go to make max profit. If you were okay with just getting the one standard deviation and taking your $180, that's $279.50 or $278. Let's just call it $278. $278 puts you right here. So is that possible in 37 days? Well, it says it is. It's possible, but you're never going to get better than a 50% probability because it's a directional bias trade. But that's the one I would go for. And if you want to take it because you do think it's going to break out and it's going to go up there, you buy the 260 strike, Jan 12 expiration, 36 days to expiration. You buy the 260 strike, you sell the 265 strike. And as of right now, it's, $1.30, which is good on a $5 wide spread. That leaves the max profit at 370. You're not looking to hit max profit. You're only looking to get right there, as you would make $180 on the trade, which is more than you risked. So if you want to take it, there it is. All right. Bitcoin is moving back to the downside. Let's go over here and look at it. It has gotten back under, but we'll see if it'll remain under there or not. This 30-minute candle needs to breach the midpoint of this candle. If it does not, you do not take the trade. Okay? Because this will literally be considered a accumulation candle. You got to close a 30-minute candle under the 50% retracement of that candle, which puts you right there. if it doesn't, then the probabilities are that Bitcoin's probably going to go higher, not lower. So you can draw you a little line there, roughly right in there. Watch it on the 5-minute. See if it holds here and then gives you that move lower. That's what you want to see. But yeah, like is the least you can do. Oh yeah, please, if you don't mind, like it. I mean, we got 29 people watching. We got 29 likes. We had 40 at one point, so that's not bad. It'd be much better if everybody would, but not everybody will. That's just life. But thank you for that. I appreciate it. TMF is, yeah, read that. It's a way to trade with a 403 billion retirement account. Not really. Not really. No. I would have to say no on that. MYOMO, if you have time, please, and thanks for the wisdom. I don't even know what that is. Is that a stock? MYOMO. Is that what you're talking about, or is this that has to be what you're talking about? MYO is the ticker for that. I have no idea what this company is. It is being bought up. Oh, well, if you go all the way back in time, it doesn't look good at all. This looks like, what is this thing? There's a split there, not good. Yeah. It looks like it's doing good, but I would expect once it gets back up to $5, it'll probably get sold again. $5 is the cutoff point for money managers and investment banks and stuff like that to hold these assets. So if it can maintain bullish posture above $5, then maybe. But it's been split, so, and that was a big split too, 1 to 30. Yuck. I don't know what it is. Never heard of it before, but I doubt anybody's buying it. The technicals are a buy. This is so crazy. What technicals? This says this is a buy. Analyst rating, strong buy. 1-year price target, 490. It is a medical robotics company that develops, designs, and produces myoelectric orthotics for people with neuromuscular disorders. It offers MyoPro, an upper limb orthosis designed to support the... Okay, so, I mean, I like what they do. But the analyst upgrade is only up to 490. So, I mean, there's not much juice left to squeeze in this lemon, if that's their target. And it's probably their target because they know the $5 rule, right? Like anybody that's still holding through all of this down in here that wants to get out, I mean, they might have had a breakthrough in some kind of technology or something that's gotten it, back up. But this thing was very, very close to being zero. I mean, you got down to 40 cents. That's a 10x loss on your money if that's huge. Or 90% loss on your money if it goes back down. So be careful buying it up here. If you do want to buy it, because you know more about it or something, wait for it to pull back to support. 310-ish. You're well overbought. Yeah, let it get back down to 310, as that would put you closer to there. And then if people are really buying it and it's not just a one-off spike, then you should see people buy it around there. All right, ETH is running. ETH is up 4% on the day. It damn sure is. So that short on Bitcoin may not work out. Or there's just news or something on ETH. I don't know. We know that Bitcoin was destroying ETH. Looks like you had a bear trap down there. That's your lowest closing daily candle. And this does look like a range where people would buy it. So yeah, I mean, it looks like ETH is getting a bid up today. It could be a technical setup. It's still under the 50. But it could also garner some support for Bitcoin today. So be very careful on that, looking for that Bitcoin short. Just make sure you guys don't risk a lot of money on it if you took it. All right. It's got to get down there. It's got to close at least a 30-minute down in this region. If it struggles to get under this point right here, it's going right back up. I don't think I would get long based on that because Bitcoin is just so massively overbought at these prices. But technically, just speaking candle wise, if it can't get under this, then this high isn't going to hold. There's not many times where you'll see Ethereum up 4% and Bitcoin down on the day. You know what I mean? It does occasionally happen, but not that often. Usually those things trade pretty close to one another. Oh, Bitcoin bulls will be loading up right there. All right, guys, we're going to wrap it up. USD JPY. Yeah, it's moving good. It's moving good for us. We went over this earlier. It's literally because the Bank of Japan appears to be preparing for the end of its long-held negative interest rate policy. They have to, right? Their GDP is terrible. So they're going to have to raise interest rates to get inflation under control. That's going to make the yen bullish. So the best trade right now, or not right now, but earlier today, was the USD JPY because the USD's down and the JPY is up. So that's typically the trade you want to be in. You want to be short the weaker currency. It is having a nice move down. Beautiful. That is pippage right there. Pippage, pippage, pippage. To the point to where I'll probably go ahead and take another third off of this profits. So the hourly just closed at the midpoint on Bitcoin. Literally, hourly closed at the midpoint. Maybe a little lower. Let's see. Yeah, just under the midpoint. So that might be good, might not. We'll see. I did take the position. My stop is going to be right above this high because I don't trust this price action. So instead of risking all the way up to there, I'm only going to risk the high of this candle because my entry is literally like right in here. So essentially, I'm just going to throw the stop right at my entry because I don't, like I said, I don't like this price action. I need to see this thing like really start to dump in the next 20 minutes, or it's probably going to go right back up and take out that high. So just be careful. If you are in the position, then that's what you want to see. You want to see a big drop. Big drop. I don't know why I got the RSI up on the 5-minute, but whatever. Yeah, it's medical stuff and legal case. We'll see. Yep. All right. Where would you look for a bounce on USD JPY to short again? Let's see. That's gonna be a tough one. It's gonna be a tough one because this move is going to be very extended. There's Q3's high and Q3's open. Let's just go verify that. Yeah. Q3's high, Q3's open. I would expect bears to defend that area. So 145.075. That's a quarterly level, so you could potentially get daily closes above. But the highest I would want to see it get would be 146.836, which is there. But if you just, whatever today's low prints, technically speaking, it could pull back all the way up to 148. Just based on this, as if this is just one price leg, your pullback would put you up into the 50% or the 618 retracement, and then you would see if they are going to continue on the route of raising interest rates, this will get hit again. So, I mean, there's many different ways that you could look for that potential pullback zone. But yeah, just look what happened last time though. Like when you had a big candle, but this was during FOMC. I mean, you barely pulled back and then you hauled butt back to the downside. So yeah, I mean, that's a big rate decision for them to start raising interest rates because they haven't done it in forever. So you could also watch the midpoint of this big down candle as well. And with that, we're going to wrap it up. You guys have a fantastic rest of your day. Make sure you guys trade safe. Make sure you trade smart. And as always, happy trading, everybody.